I've got Todd Young, and I've got Vance Kayla. So
Muskie Max! It felt right.
It did. It was. What's up, yinz guys? Welcome back to Fishing PA with Ryan Reed. What I wanted to do was one last episode on Muskie Max 2020. I really just wanted to show you guys how awesome the show was this year. I want to talk a little bit about the event. I want to give you guys my perspective using that media pass and kind of working with Sean. And then I also want to talk about my Muskie Max 2020 pickups and some of the baits I'm going to be throwing this year. I've got a variety of trolling baits and I've got some casting baits. So last year I went a little heavy on the trolling baits. This year I really wanted to kind of focus on glide baits and really focus on casting. So kind of an interesting mix here. And then at the end of this, I would love it if you guys left me a comment on what your pickups were for Muskie Max. And if you did not attend Muskie Max, still leave me a comment. Let me know what lures you guys are looking at buying, what lures you've picked up for this year. Doesn't matter, doesn't have to be for muskies. You know, I just really want to get the conversation started. I want to know what you guys are going to be fishing in 2020 on your bodies of water. All right, guys, so just to kind of get started here, you know, Muskie Max was absolutely phenomenal this year. And I've got to tell you, my initial impression being on the side with the vendors versus the side waiting to get in was really, really interesting this year. Really, for a couple reasons. You know, number one, we were there all day Friday. We had the opportunity to help Sean and Tara set up. We were setting up the stages. We were setting up hanging banners, you know, flags, just kind of helping out with anything. I was able to do a time lapse of the setup for Muskie Max, which was super cool to kind of see that whole show come together. And I did a time lapse of Todd Leopardi's booth just to kind of see what it takes to set up a booth. So I really thought Friday was really awesome. You know, we were there all day and it was just really cool to me to be a part of that, see that show come to life and really set us up for the weekend. And I've got to say, Sean and Tara, you guys work so hard for this event. You know, countless hours go into this event. And I was able to see that firsthand this year. And I'm really thankful for that because it gave me a different perspective on really what it takes to do a show like this. Not only from the setup and management of it with Sean and Tara, but really for the vendors. You know, seeing everybody dragging their equipment in, working hard to set up booths, and thinking about all the time that people spend to make these baits for these events. You know, these are 2 or 3 or 4 or 6 months worth of baits and time and really just pouring your heart and soul into a product and then bringing it together for a weekend for consumers to come visit and pick up ultimately. So it was super cool to be a part of that. I loved every minute of this experience. I'm really glad I did it. And it really kind of resulted in me meeting and talking to so many more vendors this year. It pushed me to go have a conversation and do some of these interviews. So it was just such an awesome show. If you guys have not experienced Muskie Max, and you are a muskie fisherman, or if you're really just kind of interested in the muskie scene, trying to learn a little bit more about it, Muskie Max is a great opportunity for you guys to do that. So next year, March, I think it's going to be March 6th and 7th next year. Go out to the website. It's completely updated. Mark your calendars. You guys need to check this event out. It's really premier, really well put together, and just completely phenomenal vendors. And they're all really, really good people. So they're humble. They're easy to talk to. Really awesome event. So we spent all day Friday working. I was taking some interviews. I was doing the Todd Leopardi, the Fat AZ Muddy Creek interviews. I was trying to hack video on site, you know, after the fact. It was just really kind of hectic in my mind. But then we get to Saturday. You know, after a really long day going back to the hotel, me and my brother hacking video all night until like 2 in the morning. We were going to go stand in line early for the Zachary Baker. However, I got a few text messages around midnight that people were already starting to line up. So this year was different. You know, instead of me going and standing in the cold in line, I made the decision at like 2:30 in the morning to basically use the pass, get in, and just continue on with working interviews. So that was really interesting. Now I was inside, and it kind of helped me a little bit because I already knew where everybody was at, and I could make my way around after the show opened and pick up some of these baits. So Saturday morning, we did the Mark King interview. We did a couple of interviews with Muskie's Inc., chapter 64, and then my chapter, or our chapter here in Pittsburgh, the Three Rivers, chapter 16, Muskie's Inc., with Joel and with Charlie. Had a couple other interviews in the morning, and it was just really crazy because I never actually got outside to see the line, and I really missed that. I wanted that shot, but Corey was able to get some footage of that, some of the guys lining up outside. Really cool to see people lining up early to get into the show, to talk and see the baits and talk to vendors that they wanted to talk to. So again, great turnout on Saturday. I loved it. The other really cool thing about Saturday is I got to work with the seminars. So I was helping some of the guys get ready for the seminars. And you guys know I'm a huge seminar guy. I pick up a lot of stuff from those seminars. I usually take notes. This year I did not have the opportunity to do that. But it was really cool because the first seminar was Jason Quintano. And he really talked about electronics. He talked about, some of the new technology out there. He talked about his method to catch fish on the water. And really his method is finding fish to catch fish. You can't catch fish in areas that fish don't hang out, which completely makes sense. And really from his perspective as a guide, he puts a lot of fish in the boat up on St. Clair. But I really took that and applied it to myself. Because a lot of times I'm fishing locally in waters that don't have really good numbers of muskies when I could be focusing on other waters that do. So realistically, put yourself in high percentages situations, and that's going to result into catching more fish. It was really cool what he did with the pan optics. Really cool with the embedded videos he had in his slides. I love that presentation. Jason Quintano, he did an awesome job on that. The next seminar was Kentrell. And man, I love listening to Kentrell. He is an awesome guide out of Virginia, fishes the rivers down there. He talked about his experience fishing the rivers, looking for eddies, looking for current, and fishing current was a huge takeaway for me. Not a lot of guys fish current, but he catches a lot of fish that way. He talked about some of his techniques and methodologies, and it was just super cool, and it got me so jacked up because now I really, really want to go on a trip with him and fish those rivers in Virginia. So again, Kentrell, fantastic job. I loved every minute of that seminar. The third seminar was Toni Grant. And you guys know I have the utmost respect for Toni. He's been doing this forever, man. He's got so much experience, and he just talks to you as a fisherman. His seminars are about different techniques, ways to manage your body with fatigue and things like that. Toni just took a different approach, no slide. It was just, hey, let's have a conversation. I absolutely loved that. It was a killer set of information that he gave us. And he gave us, the cool thing was that he gave us a printout. For me, it was really cool having kind of like an agenda for that seminar. So I kind of knew where he was going with it. It really helped me pay more attention to Toni. So that was stellar as well. Now the last seminar, Vance Kayla's in the boat talking about trolling tactics. I listened to the majority of that. I was still trying to wrap up some of the stuff I was working on. But you guys know Vance just does a killer job every year with Muddy Creek. He's learned from Todd. It's very evident that he knows what he's doing when trolling. So that seminar was really cool. It was geared towards the trolling stuff, showing off the gear, showing how he sets his boat up, showing you guys how to troll for muskies. And that information, if you're in Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York, West Virginia, that information can be absolutely huge. So again, guys, the seminars were amazing. And usually when I go to outdoor shows, I look for seminars. And some of the shows that I've been to, the seminars were kind of just average at best. Well, with Muskie Max, you're getting top-notch information from top-notch guides and guys that have been doing this for a lot of years and have a tremendous amount of experience, and they just put hundreds and thousands of fish in the boat, throughout the year. So it's really beneficial to you if you're a muskie angler and or if you're trying to get into the sport of muskie fishing. So I can't say enough about those seminars. Lastly, I want to talk about the guide panel on Sunday. Now, this is your opportunity to like take 6 premier guides like Greg Thomas, Vance Kayla, Kentrell, Brian Clark, Spencer Berman, and Jason Quintano. And you guys know like Spencer and Jason just crush it up in St. Clair. Spencer catches so many big fish. And it was just cool as me as like a spectator sitting in the audience, just listening to these guys. You know, I'd asked them a question with regards to like, what's their favorite technique as a fisherman, not a guide, as a fisherman. And the feedback I got was really cool. It kind of added a personal touch to it. So this was an opportunity for you as like a regular angler to talk to these guys that are doing it and ask them questions and get their feedback and get their opinions. I mean, that's just such a cool forum at this show to be able to do that. So it kind of puts a little bit of pressure on them, puts them on the spot. But for me, that's great because I want to hear an honest opinion and I just really want to hear what they have to say. You know, and that's really cool. That makes Muskie Max very special from a seminar and guide panel. So next year, you guys need to get down there and check that out. It's really invaluable and it's just a really cool experience to be able to talk to these like high-end professionals in the muskie world. So one of the other things for me this year, you know, as I was running around the show, I was bumping into people that watch the channel. I was bumping into people that I've talked to on social media. I was bumping into people that are a part of Muskie Zing Chapter 16 that I've talked to more regularly. And it was just so cool to me to be that close to the muskie community and really just talk to guys and catch up and see what guys are doing and what they're up to, asking them how their families are. You know, you just run into people. And I got to meet a lot of new people as well that I haven't met before. You know, people came up and said, hey, I watch your channel, you know, asking me some questions. Just really cool to be a part of that. So thank you guys all for coming up to me and just chatting for a little bit. I felt really bad because I was super tired and I was really trying to do my best to talk to everybody. But I was a little overwhelmed a little bit just because there's so many people there and the muskie community is so tight knit. It's like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Hey, you know, it's just like, I wish I had more time to like talk to you guys more and get a feel for like how things are going, you know, how your fishing is, where you're fishing, you know, things like that. So hopefully we get a chance to bump into each other again. But man, that really makes this show special, not only for me, but just in general. I mean, you can come out and talk to really friends within the muskie community and just learn and pick brains and talk. It's really a cool thing because it's like all weekend. Like if you really want it to be Saturday and Sunday, it can be Saturday and Sunday. And it's just a way to surround yourself around fishing. You know, get your mind off of coronavirus, get your mind off of politics, get your mind off of all the crap that goes on in everyday life, and just like come relax and talk fishing. And that, again, guys, is what makes Muskie Max so freaking special, not just to me, but many, many other people. Just a lot of cool products there. There were rods and reels. There were tons and tons of bait companies there. There were guide services. The Muskie Zing chapters were there. PA Fish and Boat was there, which I made a huge mistake, and I want to apologize, you know, to Jared and to Brian. I just completely lost track of the interview for PA Fish and Boat. It would have been epic. I'm hoping to be able to reschedule that. But again, this is an opportunity for you guys to go out to the show and talk to PA Fish and Boat firsthand. Get the information from them firsthand and really just talk to them and chat and figure out, you know, where they're going with some of this stuff. Learn about the fish. You know, they had biologists on site on Saturday that would talk to you. So we don't always get those opportunities as anglers, and that is another really cool aspect to the show. But all in all, guys, you know, Muskie Max was a huge success this year. You know, a lot of hard work went into that event, and it just made it so special for us as anglers to be a part of that. You know, 2 days where you can go and talk muskie fishing with some of the best anglers in our area across multiple states. You know, a lot of guys traveled. It's just really cool to be a part of. And you guys know, like, I love this show so much because of all the stuff we talked about. It's so cool to be a part of it. And that's why I do these videos, is so that you guys can see, you know, how awesome this event is. You know, come out and be a part of it and enjoy it. It happens once a year. So with that said, guys, I just want to talk about my pickups for the show. I'm not going to go in any particular order. You guys know that a lot of people show up early to get Baker baits, talk to Zach and get his products. This year, I don't have any like brown bakers, so I kind of was focusing on the Freddie Mercury and that orange belly brown perch pattern to kind of give me a little different color set than the Goldies. So I was able to get a couple of baits off of Zach this year. I got 2 5-inch bakers, one in the Freddie Mercury pattern. You guys can see that. This is actually the Freddie Mercury glitter. Really awesome colors in this bait, man. It is just so cool. Really flat out, baker paint jobs. They're just amazing. I noticed that the epoxy on these, they're a little different from the ones I had last year. They are just absolutely stunning, and they're going to get chewed on if I run them. That's the orange belly brown perch. Very similar to the Freddie Mercury, but again, these are 2 colors that I targeted that I really wanted. So from there, I went straight to Evan Schoss. You guys, if you watched my Canada videos, you guys know that I lost my meatball last year, and I've been heartbroken ever since because this bait, would have saved my Canada trip. I caught probably 4 or 5 fish right out of the gate on this, and that water was so cold we struggled. But this bait here, this is his glitter perch pattern. This is one of the sickest baits. I just love this. I love the perch. I love the glitter. Just such a cool bait. And then you also have the Goldie pattern that I picked up. Can't go wrong with Goldie pretty much anywhere we fish. These are the regular meatballs, and they're just outstanding to troll. I was going to try to cast these. I'm going to try it this year and see, but they thump really, really hard, and that's why they produce so much fish. I mean, Evan has engineered these things perfectly with this profile, and these are just amazing products, and they catch a ton of muskies throughout the entire year. So from there, Dale Wiley, and I've got to say, I probably have 2 regrets from the show. And my first regret is not buying more Wileys this year. I had it in my mind that I wanted to go with more of the glide baits. But I saw his booth. I really wanted to get those King Juniors. What happened was I went up to the rack and I just glanced at it, and I was thinking, I probably need to spend more time here. But I grabbed 2 baits off the rack, and I grabbed this King Junior, which I think that's the hot sucker pattern. And I also grabbed the King Junior in the cart pattern. I love these colors. There were a few more up there. I kind of messed up because I was thinking in my mind, I'm going to swing back here and pick up more baits. And I also had somebody that asked me to pick up a couple of Wileys, and I just completely never made it back. And by the time I made it back, all of his baits were wiped out. So I really screwed up there. Bad, because I wanted more Wileys. However, I did get this bait, and I just want to say thank you, Dale Wiley, very much. Not only for that interview, but what you did for me. This bait is just super awesome. This is the King, and this color is it's just amazing. It's got the gold and the black and the white belly. This bait, I think Dale told me to troll this at 40 feet behind the boat. I just have a feeling this thing's going to get decimated this year, and I don't have a lot of these. This is only my second Wiley of this size in this model, so I'm really excited about that. Next bait I want to talk about is this baby Marsh ad from Marshall Tackle. And Josh, again, I really love talking to him. He's been doing this for 10 years. But this bait, man, I'll tell you what, I saw this posted on social media, and it just caught my eye, and I absolutely had to have this color. This is just a sweet paint job. These little babies are really awesome profiles for me because I cast a lot now. And, with this color, I think this thing is just going to get destroyed this year. As long as I'm casting it, I feel very confident in this. And just knowing Josh now, after talking to him, his baits are really you can cast them or troll them, and his products are just really sweet. And, a lot of guys in Ohio are using them. And I think, these baits translate well into PA too. So if you guys are an angler, a PA angler, and you're looking for some products, check out Marshall, because these little guys are awesome. He's got all kinds of different sizes, but he also has some dive and rise baits, and I think he has some glide baits too, jerk baits style. Check those out. I had to have this color. I did it. I'm going to throw it and it's going to catch fish. I feel very confident in that. Also, guys, I had a chance to talk to Paul at Bosch. I don't want to say my favorite interview because they were all my favorite interview, but Paul's interview was probably in my top 3 for sure. Paul is just an amazing person. He's hilarious. I had so much fun in that booth. I'm so happy I stopped to talk to him, and I'm really happy that he did the interview. And it also led to this Bosch shad, which is the Crime Boss. This is that brown perch, orange belly pattern. Again, small profile bait, awesome for springtime, and I can cast this and not tear up my back all day. So I love this bait. Again, thanks, Paul, for talking to me and for everything you did for me at the show. Just really awesome experience for me. And this is really cool because I have not talked to Paul previously. So, guys, for me, like, being able to talk to these guys, I hear Paul on the Fat AZ. Evan was on Fat AZ. Zach's on Fat AZ. Like, Dale, these guys are so well known in the community and just they're premier fishermen. And, like, for a guy like me to be able to walk up and just talk to Paul or any of these guys, it was amazing. And, that's why, you almost establish a connection with that person and their products. And for me, like, I want to buy those products based on the person. You establish that relationship, and it's so awesome. I loved it. And, this stuff, these were awesome pickups for me, and I'm super excited about it. One other one I want to talk about really quick before I get into the glide baits, Bigos Bucktails, Owen. It was really cool seeing Owen at Muskie Max this year. First time at Max. You guys, if you're bucktail throwers, I'm telling you right now, you need to talk to Owen and you need to look at these Bigos Bucktails. He is doing some really, really cool stuff. And he showed that off at Muskie Max. Like, that was one of the first times I've ever experienced, in my limited experience, my first time witnessing a vendor building flipping baits on site for people as they were requesting it. It was like a freaking MTO. Like, it was amazing. Like, you could just walk up and be like, oh no, I want this color blade, or I want this, or I want, that. And he was making them right there on site. But you guys, I mean, check this flipping bait out. Like, this is the Smoke Perp bucktail. This is the same bucktail that SB caught his fish on with DJ in that tournament last year. The really cool thing about this is he's got the bending wire, so it's not a straight wire on these. And he does this because if you get a fish, it doesn't destroy the bait. Like, to me, this is like revolutionary in the bucktail world. Like, this is amazing stuff. But he uses like really high quality blades, really awesome skirts, and just solid hook. I mean, these things are constructed beautifully. And I can tell you, if you guys know Pennsylvania Monsters on Instagram, Tommy, he catches fish on these things. A lot of guys are starting to catch fish on these blades, and he's got a tremendous amount of configurations to do. So again, check out Bigos Bucktails. Awesome, awesome products. And Muskie Max, again, giving you an opportunity to like actually talk to Owen. So Owen, thank you very much again for everything you did, at the show. Just fantastic stuff. All right, guys, for the last of my pickups, and I saved this one for last for me because this is what I was targeting. If you guys can see here, I got the Keystone King Muskie Lures shirt on. I'm super pumped about the shirts. I live in these things in the summertime. I'm getting a little chubby now, so I had to go up to an extra large. We're going to have to get back on the treadmill at some point here, maybe actually managing my diabetes. However, it's almost fishing season, so I'll be out moving around a little bit more, hopefully cast more, and get some of this extra weight off. So really what I wanted to talk about is Keystone King Muskie Lures. I met Mark last year at Muskie Max, and it kind of opened a door for me. And the door was glide baits, understanding glide baits. And Mark does some dive and rise stuff too, but I really love glide baits. I wanted to learn how to use them. So Mark actually took me out fishing last year. We went to an Ohio lake, we fished, moved to fish on a glide bait, threw the glide bait all day. But the really cool thing was, like, Mark was super patient with me. I was getting snagged all up in the trees. But, like somebody experienced like Mark King was like, hey, you're fishing where the fish are. You should be getting snagged right now. it was such a confidence boost for me. And to have somebody like him kind of almost mentoring me a little bit with these baits, like it was invaluable. It was like priceless to me. So I can't say enough about Mark King, you know, willing to take a bum like me out on the water and show me how to work these baits and spend a day fishing with me, showing me some of his spots and where he's raised fish, where he's caught fish. You know, it was a really special experience and I really enjoyed it. So I was like super pumped to get back to Max and really talk to Mark again in person. So I had a couple of baits in mind. He makes like 3 different styles of glide baits now. He makes the Mr. T, which is a bigger bait. This bait right here, I was dying to get this color. I'm super pumped about this. That's his orange fire tiger or orange tiger. It's got the white belly, black tail. This is the Mr. T. It's a little bit bigger. I can't remember ounce-wise. I want to say 6 ounces, 7 ounces, something like that. Check with Mark if you guys have a question, but these things are just amazing. I love the big profile of this. And really, like if I would cast more, my back, like these really don't hurt that bad to sit there and cast these all day. You know, some of the bigger baits like bother me because I don't cast a lot and I'm kind of a wuss. But like with Mark's stuff, it hasn't bothered me really since the first day I was out with him. So these baits, I mean, this is a solid bait even for a beginner to pick up and learn how to use a glide bait. So really awesome color there. Now I want to talk about this one. This was a special bait for me. This, for some reason, this lure caught my eye on Friday. And I was targeting this and I was debating and debating and debating. I freaking love this thing. I don't even know that I can fish it because it's so beautiful. This is again, the Mr. T. And that is like a brown trout pattern. And just look at the glitter work. Mark King stepping it up a notch for Muskie Max with the glitter. Man, I mean, dude, I cannot wait to get this thing in the water. I am fired up about it. I think this bait could have a potential to just be retired from being beat on this year. So I'm really hoping that's the case. It's just so beautiful. And I just want to say again, you know, Mark, you know, to your wife, thank you guys very much for everything. This was just such a cool bait and I'm like super pumped to throw it. Now, a couple other ones I want to talk about. This is the Little B, or this is the Junior, the Muskie King Junior. I got this in this like yellow perch. I mean, this color for me, I've been throwing this color in like little jerk baits all winter, and I've been catching and moving fish and catching and losing a lot of fish. I had to have this. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm buying that color. It took me a little bit longer than it should have. I probably waited a little bit too long. There was only like 2 of these left, so I'm super pumped I got this color. And then we go to the shad. And if you guys watch social media, you know somebody in our area just caught a really nice fish on this exact color. And that's, again, the King Glider in the shad color, chartreuse tail. Man, this is going on the rod first. I am throwing this, and I am going, hopefully, to catch a muskie on this on the first day I throw it. It's just amazing. Just awesome paint job. I love it. The last bait I want to talk about that's new for this year, this is Mark King's Peanut. I'm not going to give you guys the name of this bait. I want that to be a surprise for later because I have a feeling when I catch a fish on it, I'm probably going to start shouting it. Now this is just cool. A little bit of sponge work on that bad boy. I love the white baits. And the really cool thing about this that Mark, you know, can probably expand on is this is like a super slow sinking bait. The weight in it, you know, this thing is really meant for like the rivers and creeks. Like this is going to hit the water and it's going to sink a lot slower, which it's going to give me a lot more control, you know, so I'm not getting snagged a lot. So I'm really excited about this one. All right, yinz guys, we've talked a lot about Muskie Max. I showed you a little bit more footage from the show. I just wanted to talk about the seminars, how awesome they were. Really just talk about the show in general. I mean, this is the last video I'm going to do on Muskie Max for now. Really stoked to be a part of this event this year in the capacity that I was a part of it. Kind of as a spectator and sort of kind of on the vendor side a little bit too. Not really as a vendor, but really kind of working it from a media standpoint. And guys, I keep pushing this show. We're going to fire up again probably next February and continue to talk about this thing. But just such an awesome, awesome job by Sean again. and Tara to put this thing together. So thank you all for being a part of Muskie Max. Thank you to everybody that worked super hard to set that show up and work the show. And thank you to all the vendors who worked extremely hard on your baits, pouring your hearts and your souls into these products so that guys like me can come out and buy them from you. I mean, it just makes it super special to have all of you vendors that attended there and available to talk to guys as people and as fishermen. We really, really, truly appreciate that. And we really, truly appreciate like everything you guys do for the communities and really, you know, the raffles and donating products and trying to help with the Minnow Fund, you know, and just really giving us information as anglers to help us catch more fish. You know, that's what these are. These baits are not just pretty little things on the table. You know, these baits are tools to catch fish. And without vendors, you know, helping us figure out where to run these things, how to cast them, you know, like Mark King did with me, you know, it's a lot harder. The learning curve is a lot harder for us. So again, special thanks to Muskies Inc., Chapter 64 and Chapter 16. You know, I really appreciate the clubs, what the clubs do for us as fishermen, what the clubs do for the fisheries here in Pennsylvania. Super, super important. You guys need to check those interviews out, understand that. And if you're really interested, don't be afraid to reach out, talk to those guys. Come out to the meetings. Come see it for yourself. Experience it for yourself. Even before you get a membership. You know, come fish the tournaments with us. You know, I need to do a better job of that. I need to make more meetings. I need to get out to these tournaments. But when you guys do it, you see like how special that group of people is. So Muskies Inc., thank you guys very much. You know, one last thank you. I got to thank my wife, Deanna, for hooking me up with the hotel room, supporting me through all of this video work, you know, with my channel. I couldn't do this stuff if it wasn't for her, you know, having my back and really pushing me to be better, giving me advice and things like that. So I just want to thank her for that. You know, you guys don't see that side of it, but it's not easy doing this. It's not easy spending hours researching lake breakdowns or spending hours working a show like Muskie Max. Like it takes its toll because it wears you out. And when you work as much as I do, like 60 hours a week, and then you come home and like immediately start working on video, like you've got to be able to balance like personal life, family stuff away from work. And she supports me through that. So I just want to thank her for that as well. So guys, you know, super pumped about Muskie Max. You know, I've got so many stickers here. I've got the Shaw sticker. That's going on my truck. Grim Reaper, Big O's. You know, I want to talk about the Nittany Valley sticker. That's a really cool sticker too. We should do this for Three Rivers. This is just a cool idea. And then Brady, I just want to thank Brady real quick. My man, hooking me up. You guys know, if you've seen my post, I muck my stickers up on my truck. They're all crooked. You know, Tommy, I'm going to reach out to him at Pennsylvania Monsters. He does printing like this. I'm hoping to get some new stickers and incorporate some of these on my truck as well. So again, Muskie Max, really cool opportunity to pick up some stickers for your truck, boys and girls. So I can't really think of anything bad about this show, and I've gone on about it for like 30 minutes now. I promise you guys this is the last one. Do me a favor, next year, early March, check out Muskie Max 2021. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. I'm really hoping that the show continues to grow. I'm really hoping that we get more and more vendors. And I'm really hoping that the vendors that were here this year come back because, again, it's super special and it's super awesome to be a part of. So if you guys like this crazy video, me talking nonsense about a show that I love, hit that like button for me. If you guys like this content overall, you want to see more of these baits, more of these baits, you want to see more of these baits, or you just want to see or listen to this face and this voice for some reason, I don't know why you would, please subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you guys, all of the positive feedback. It's just been fantastic. So, all right, yinz guys, it is time to get our butts out on the water. It's March. The water's warming up. The temps are warming up. Get your gear ready. Let's go fishing. Super pumped. See you guys soon. Tight lines. We will see yins next time.